The Loomis Fargo robbery wasn't a masterpiece of planning. It was a cascade of amateur blunders. Everyone thinks the Loomis Fargo robbery was some meticulously orchestrated criminal enterprise. They are wrong. It was a chaotic mess, born from desperation and fueled by an astonishing lack of foresight, ultimately unraveling from within. Our story begins in Charlotte, North Carolina in October 1997. The Loomis Fargo vault, a seemingly impregnable fortress, held millions in cash, destined for banks and ATMs across the region. But this night, its security was compromised. David Gant, a Loomis Fargo vault supervisor, was at the center of it all. A man burdened by debt and a failing marriage, he saw the vault not as a symbol of trust, but as a solution to his mounting problems. He had an inside track and a growing temptation. His co-worker, Kelly Campbell, played a pivotal role in swaying Gant. She planted the seed, discussing the sheer volume of cash they handled daily. The allure of easy money, for a man already at his breaking point, was almost irresistible. But the true orchestrator, the one who would ultimately doom their scheme, was Steve Chambers. A lifelong friend of Campbell's, Chambers was a small-time crook with a grandiose vision and an even grander ego. He saw an opportunity to finally make it big. The plan was simple, almost laughably so. Gant would enter the vault, load the cash into a company van, and drive away. The lack of sophistication was, in its own way, an act of supreme confidence in their luck. On October 4th, 1997, just after midnight, Gant executed his part. He disabled the security cameras, loaded $17, $3 million in cash into a Loomis Fargo van, and drove off into the North Carolina night. The amount itself was staggering. The initial getaway was almost too smooth. Gant met with Campbell and Chambers. The money was transferred to another vehicle, and Gant was given a paltry $50,000 for his direct involvement, a fraction of the total haul. He was then instructed to flee to Mexico, a classic move to throw off the scent. But this separation, this immediate distance between the main players, would prove to be a crucial crack in their already fragile foundation. Back in Charlotte, Chambers and his crew began their spending spree. This wasn't careful, calculated investment. It was an explosion of conspicuous consumption that immediately drew attention from an unsuspecting public and, critically, law enforcement. New luxury cars, houses, cosmetic surgery, even a new dental plate for Chambers. These weren't subtle purchases. They were neon signs screaming we just got rich illegally. This lack of discretion was their first major error. The FBI, already investigating the massive theft, quickly connected the dots. The sudden affluence of Chambers and his associates, people with no prior legitimate wealth, was too blatant to ignore. The investigation zeroed in rapidly. The mastermind Chambers, paranoid and increasingly erratic, began to fear Gant. He believed Gant, as the direct perpetrator, knew too much and could implicate them all. This fear transformed into a dangerous obsession. Chambers attempted to hire hitmen, not once but twice, to eliminate Gant in Mexico. The sheer amateurishness of these attempts was astounding, contacting individuals who were either informants or simply incompetent. One such attempt involved an FBI informant, who, instead of carrying out the hit, reported Chambers's request directly to the authorities. This provided the FBI with irrefutable evidence of a murder-for-hire plot, solidifying their case. Gant, meanwhile, was living a life of quiet paranoia in Mexico, unaware of the contract on his head. He eventually contacted Kelly Campbell, expressing his desire to return and cooperate with authorities. His return was facilitated by the FBI, who now had Gant as a cooperating witness. His testimony, combined with the evidence gathered from Chambers's reckless spending and murder plots, sealed the fate of the entire crew. In March 1998, David Gant was apprehended. Soon after, Steve Chambers, Kelly Campbell, and the rest of the gang were rounded up. The illusion of a perfect crime shattered, replaced by the reality of their gross incompetence. Gant received 7 years and 3 months in federal prison. Steve Chambers, the supposed mastermind, got 11 years and 3 months. Kelly Campbell, for her role in the conspiracy, received 5 years and 8 months. The Loomis Fargo robbery stands as a stark example of a heist that crumbled not because of external forces, but due to internal flaws: greed, ego, paranoia, and a shocking lack of criminal sophistication. Most of the stolen money, nearly $17 million, was eventually recovered. It was found stuffed in garbage cans, hidden in storage units, and buried in backyards. The sheer volume was difficult to conceal. The lasting aftermath of the Loomis Fargo robbery isn't a tale of cunning criminals, but a cautionary one. It highlights how even the largest sums of money can't buy discretion, competence, or loyalty when the foundation is rotten. The case inspired a major motion picture, further cementing its place in the annals of criminal folly. It's a story of ordinary people, given an extraordinary opportunity, who proved utterly incapable of handling its consequences. The Loomis Fargo robbery serves as a fascinating study in criminal psychology, exposing the predictable patterns of human frailty under immense pressure and temptation. Explore another tale of ambition gone awry by watching our deep dive into the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist.